by getting to know the past students again and finding out what they've been up to. Right? It's really something that it makes me realize how much bigger this is than money. It's far bigger than money. You know, it's X $1,000 per student. You know, we know education is expensive these days. How far does that really go? I will tell you, it goes a long way in the sense of how these students, even 20 years later, think about it. I remember. All right, so far, actually, 73 students right now. 73 students as of today, $115,760. That's pretty good. With a lot of students. Of course, thanks to sponsors, counselors, teachers, and the parents especially, because always when we do these interviews, when you ask students, well, who's the most influential person in your life? Number one, it's a parent. Number two, it's a teacher. Always. Major impact. Thank you all. So, the selection process. I think it's special. And the reason I think it's special is because we have an outcomes analysis. I can prove it. So volunteerism, service leadership are the important aspects when we look at applications and when we interview students. GPA, sure, we look at that, but it's not a deciding factor. In any way, shape, or form, these are the things that are important to us. And we think these things are very important in life, and I think they are. So, who are they? There are, and this is something, when I say outcomes, so surveys, when you send out a survey, what do you think the return rate is? A good return rate. What's a good return rate on a survey? 10%. 2%. 10%. That's right. 10% is considered pretty good. Okay. How many students have we followed? Or out of the 68 pass points, I have followed up in some way just last few years with 46. 68% return rate. So I think we can say something about how good is this process? What does it mean? So there are counselors, teachers, community organizers, writers, nurses, doctors, and many others that have come from these meetings and these scholars. I'm going to start a little, I was going to take this in chronological order, but for a reason you will see shortly, I'm going to go out of order just a little bit. So, 2019, Ron Fox was going to Virginia Tech in business, double major in marketing and management, concentration in consulting and analytics. She is still there doing that. She spent this spring the entire semester in Lugano, Switzerland, on a study abroad from Virginia Tech. This is her there. She traveled to 14 countries and 22 cities, besides doing whatever education stuff she had. I don't know how much that was, but know that right. She's going to go back into research when she gets back, and with her favorite professor, and is just really having a great time with education. Her sister, Allison, 2013. She went to Virginia Tech to be a veterinarian, and she stuck with it. She graduated from Virginia Tech in veterinary sciences, went to veterinary school at Virginia Tech, and a year ago, showed up here for her first job at Western Animal Hospital in Stanton for large and small animal veterinary. And is she happy? Oh, what do you think? Her customers happy. Now that is it's an alpaca cria, which I learned is a juvenile alpaca. And it got a acorn stuck in its throat and she saved it. Now, how she did that, she didn't explain. I'm not sure if there's a Heimlich for alpacas or not, but she saved that old guy's life. She's pretty happy, right? Okay. So the reason I did this is there's another student I want to talk about who grew up here. So Alan graduated. He graduated from Warren County in 1984. He back to Warren in 1988 after graduating from Indiana University of Pennsylvania and began teaching. He earned his master's at Shenandoah University and became assistant principal at Warren County High School until he was later named principal at Warren County Middle School for 13 years, both at the old location and at the new historic high school. He was then director of instruction for secondary schools, and it years being named assistant superintendent of instruction last fall. Okay. Now, you all know that he was in a pretty bad accident on December 17th, and it was devastating. He had, just to be a part of that, he had 15 brain injuries, closed head injury. He was in bad shape. He has had a very, very long recovery, arduous recovery process, and he has put everything he has into it. And his Susan says, Alan returned home from shelter and armed rehabilitation beginning in March and began working very hard at Valley Top Rehab Center to regain his health and strength. Every day brings improvement, and he is starting to get out of it. We so appreciate your friendship, courage, and generosity of all our friends and family. This was Tuesday. Wow. He's hoping to get back to work this summer and the fall. So we wish you that. All right, now back to So Morgan Berry, Skyline High School, 2021. She went to UVA in Global Development Studies, loves UVA. She loves her course of economics and contemporary issues of national security. She's going to apply for leadership in public policy, school, and the accelerated master's program in public policy. She's interested in this role. And dates. Warren County Med School. Went to Shenandoah University in nursing. Has completed her first year. Loves the school and program. She's in the Honor Society campus. She's done very well. Michael Kelly, Warren County High School. He went to college at Charleston, political government studies, doing very well. Will graduate actually in 2 years. His college after 1 year. It took so many credits and alternate credits coming in. And he spent a week in DC as a mock ambassador to the Organization of American States. Still loves political science. Next. Now, our student is somewhere on that. So, Jackson Pine went to the U.S. Coast Guard Academy, which, by the way, is the hardest school in the United States to get into. In terms of acceptance from applications, it is the hardest school in the United States. You do it passes by Harvard, Yale, whatever. It is the hardest school. This ship is the USS Eagle. It is one of 2 commissioned state vessels, the U.S. military, the other being the U.S. Constitution. Every summer, it takes 150 cadets south to Miami on a real cruise. They work hard. He says he works 4 a.m. to midnight every day. They arrive in a little bit in Miami. He then goes to Corpus Christi, then to duty on Lake Ontario, and then 2 weeks at home and then back to school. So it is hard work. After Davino, 2020 RNA, went to College University of Chemistry, wants to go med, wants to be a dermatologist. She really found she loves chemistry. Get this, organic chemistry. Now, for all those of you who have taken organic chemistry, you know, like I do, that is like great. It's like, can you get through it, right? She had a 96%. So she's doing great. She's in the chem club, she's in the book club, she's doing very well. And Stanley, one of our own, currently living in India for a year. Will graduate UVA in 23 with a religious studies degree. She had gone there for public policy and switched. She's going to be in a master's program for a year in elementary education, and then a seminary degree is what she wants. And then she wants to move overseas and teach English for the second. Katie Bolts. You take engineering honors college, mechanical engineering. She's also doing very well. She also, like Lauren, spent the whole last semester in Riva Santa Paula, Switzerland, which is behind her. And also traveled like 20 cities. And is still over there right now, traveling to the Greek Islands and is on her way back shortly. She is working in the summers at General Dynamics Mission Systems in Sterling, Virginia. And still paying for the Destiny Austin, nursing at Radford University. She will finish in December of this year. A beautiful French nurse. She really likes labor and delivery. She gets back to the area. We'll see where she ends up. She's had a great time. UC Berkeley, UVA, anthropology and political science. She was kind of a pre-law. We'll see. Of all the 60-some, well now 70-some students, so far we have no lawyers. No, I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what that means in terms of outcomes analysis, but I'll leave that to you. And she still is maybe pre-law, although it's not good. She's really gotten into architectural history. And she has been studying and doing lots of field work at Monticello and Mount Healthy. And she is going to graduate this month. And she will then be doing architectural field school studies at Monticello and then apply to grad school after this. And grad school temporary or University of Texas, probably because they have historical architecture programs. Richard Murphy. She graduates today from Shenandoah University in Paris. The reason I know it's today now is because on my way out of the hospital, I ran into this young girl with her mom who had a cap in her hand as she was going to graduation. I said, where are you going? She said, I'm graduating Shenandoah University Nursing. I said, well, do you know Richard Murphy? Well, she's my best friend. And I said, well, I was presenting her today. And she said, great. I said, where are you going to work? She said, actually, I'll tell you the story first and we'll go back. So Bridget, yes, she graduates today. She has a job at the emergency room at Winchester. Already, so she'll be starting there shortly. She preferred labor and delivery, but labor and delivery right now, you have to work at least 3 years before you go to day shift. And she thought 3 years and nights, she wasn't sure she did that. Because ER is more like one. I said, well, did you apply at Warren? So actually, when I applied, Warren had no slots, so I couldn't get in there. I said, well, that's actually too bad. Her friend that I met today, I said, well, where are you working? She said, I'm starting in the ER at Warren. I said, well, Bridget wanted to do. She said, I just happen to be the one that right. So I need her out. So we get some new graduates. She did very well nursing, and I'm sure we'll do very nice. Sarah Downs went to LSCC for 2 years, then got into Shenandoah, which is where she wanted to go in public health studies and political science. She graduated in on December 13th, and on December 31st, she had work. So not much after graduation. This fall, she's doing a master's program in public administration and public policy. She's been accepted both at WVU and OVU and waiting on it for more to decide where she can do that. She's currently also care attendant for the district. Ruby, she was going to go into medicine, neurosciences, Virginia Tech, but when she got there, got into political organizing and helping disadvantaged children and working with refugee children, and really got into that and decided no, she was going to do political science. So she graduated in 2020 in political science. She then did a year at Americorps, working in the Blue Ridge area food bank, and now is working on projects at the Virginia Tech Center for Economics and Community Engagement. And her real passion is public and nonprofit institutions and helping them with minimal resources. So she's kind of a little organizer. That's her passion. Oops. All right, Grace Alexander. Grace was a computer nerd. and she's all computer. She went to Northwest University, graduated very highly in computer sciences. That immediately on graduating, she was hired by Apple, moved to San Francisco, and is now leading one of their conservative research teams at Apple. She also volunteers at 26 Valencia, which is an organization that tutors middle school and high school students that are disadvantaged. And she's also working at Fitzgerald Marine Reserve, helping to educate people. And she's also learning how. Laura Moran, 2013, we're working our way back. Graduate UVA in civil engineering, but her passion she found as she was going to school was firefighting and paramedics. And she was fascinated by it, became a trained firefighter while in college, became a trained paramedic while in college. And that's what she loves to do with most of her time. She also, by the way, is now completing, in August, she will complete her BSN in nursing at EMU, and is actually also working on a master's in emergency management and disaster medicine. So she'll be well placed for emergencies of someplace that wants somebody as an expert to organize. Also supervisor. And he also runs half marathons. Jessica Platter, also computer sciences, UVA computer science 2017. She works in Reston at the Walmart. I didn't know this even existed. The Walmart software lab. Apparently, Walmart developed all its own internal apps for all their associates all over the world. And she's on one of their. She's actually a team leader for upcoming major projects. So she's really done well. But I didn't know that. The other thing is she lives in Centerville, bought a house on a low interest rate. And she said to me, he said, you know, that Rotary made that possible. He said, yeah, you know, college was expensive. I had to save every dollar. You know, work when she could, whatever, saved her money so that when she got out of college, got her job, she could buy a house on a low interest rate. So she tells me that she holds Rotary partially responsible for her needing to do that. That's a refrain I hear often, is a thank you still for Rotary, and many years down the road. Sarah Webb, 2010, went to George Mason Architecture, but graduated in psychology, got really interested in education, and what she was most interested in was how do you help high school students negotiate going from high school to whatever they do next, especially college. How do you help them? Are there ways we can do better? And that is actually, now has completed all of her work and is defending her dissertation at the School of Education at Johns Hopkins. She'll have her PhD probably in July, and is going to work in the field of this whole thing about helping children, helping kids from high school make the transition. Emily Patrick there in red. That's her sister Hannah next to her, who was also a recent. She was thinking pre-med, became an EMT and loved it. And she worked as an EMT at Vienna for years. She then managed a coffee shop at the north entrance of Yellowstone. She then went to PA school in Des Moines College in Syracuse, became a PA, and now it's like the only primary care person in the southeast corner of the Eastern Shore. So she has tons of, that's amazing. I talked to her about who she is, and she has tons of responsibility. She takes care of lots of people, and loves her little town of, Watchapee. A little fishing village that has the Virginia Institute of Marine Sciences there, actually. Anyway, what their little project is, they had a defunct general store that closed. Well, she bought it, she's relocating. She wants to own the general store. Sarah Schmaltz was there in the room. She went into journalism, graduated at Virginia Tech, and then went on to graduate from NYU with a journalism graduate degree. Went and worked at St. Martin's Press in New York. Then went down to Miami, where she, with her husband, who's a biotech engineer down there. And did copywriting, did some marketing stuff, but then kind of quit. And with the pandemic and all that, has a couple dogs. But anyway, has now decided to launch her own business, which she just started in marketing. And has a little baby girl that was going to be delivered in September. So she's happy. Julie Heaton, 2008. Julie's been a rail. She's she graduated college with William Mary in public policy and economics. Actually, she went into it, public policy and economics. She did change to religious studies. Then went and taught for a year in China, English as a second language. Then went to the White Mountains in New Hampshire and was a whitewater instructor. And then went to Montana as a ranch guide. And then went to North Carolina and did wilderness therapy. And then taught also personal finance to those who really needed help. And that became kind of a little bit more of her passion. She did come back to Front Row. Actually, she came to one of our meetings. I don't remember that, about 4 years ago. When she was a ranger at NDS. Then she went back to Montana and got a master's in public administration and a graduate certificate in public health, and directed their financial education program. And then the daughter Silva was born in January. And then 3 weeks ago, he became the director of the United States Autonomous. And there they are. Eddie, what is it? So Eddie was going to go under pre-med. Went to George Mason University biochemistry, but he did it. It happened so often. He did a little summer job, you know, and it was in TSA. And what he found out was that he loved it. He loved police. He loved it. So what he did, he became a Capitol policeman. And it was a Capitol policeman. Well, that wasn't enough. He decided to do it. So he joined the Secret Service. He rose, and on this photograph, he was a Secret Service agent for the diplomatic stuff. So this is the, right here is the wife of the Canadian Prime Minister. Okay. Well, then he went on and did the SWAT team for this. He would go to faraway places and he would, you know, pull out the next to pyramids, whatever. He did that. And by the way, has a family along the way. This is Edward, like, fourth and fifth. And he just loves drums. Loves it. It's his passion. We're good luck with that, right? Mm-hmm. And he has a little brother, Noah, who Eddie says, this is him. This is him. This is his personality right there. He loved teaching fishing and going on trips all over the place. But now, his current position, where's his family again? That's his current position. You recognize this car? Anybody know what the name of this car is? The name of this car is the Beast. Mm. It is the president's limousine. He drives it. Which means he has to know all those things that those drivers need to know if they get into trouble. So he's highly trained, he's highly respected. He said, yeah, if you see the president driving around, I'm one of those cars driving around. Rachel Walker. You're a new grandfather. You can see this is kind of a little before. So she got her PhD in health science in Purdue and is working for FMG, and is actually, I think now she's kind of also a leader. She's leading one of their teams, if I recall. Yeah, and she has Milo. Lisa Cox. She went to Cornell, graduated in hospitality, and then somehow she got to the Harvard Business School writing for their global research group, and then to the U.S. Embassy in Costa Rica for almost a year. She got married in 2015 and immediately was diagnosed with Burkitt's lymphoma, which is the advanced cancer of the lymph nodes. Had to undergo extremely difficult therapy for a number of months. Came out of it in remission, and she's been in remission ever since. And she has now had 2 children. She got a master's in journalism from Harvard. She is now senior writer and editor at the Blomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative. So she's come quite a ways. Lives in Boston. Seems to be doing very well. 2002, Zach Logan continues to teach at Warren County Middle School, although I guess now he's being a student, His daughter Cecilia is 4 years old, and he's obviously good. By 2001, teaching at Warren County Middle School. And she teaches English, right? And was that. And finally, all the way back to 2000, Jackie Chanel. She was going to go to be a forensic person and really wanted to be the FBI. But she didn't see it coming when she was working one summer at Grafton School and got to know autistic children and made that her passion. So she became a board certified behavior analyst, and ever since then, she has been working with autistic children to this day. I love it. And that right there is Jim. All right, so that's the past. Now, the future. Okay?
I don't know about the rest of you, the Rotary members anyway. This is always one of my favorite programs because it's really great to see the opportunities that a lot of these award winners have had over the years. And those new ones that are sitting in the audience, look what the expectations are. Look what the opportunities are for you. And we look forward to Bob's message next year. We'll see what you've done in your first year out of high school, and you'll be around for a while, so you can. So it's my honor today to present the scholarships for 5 students, 1 from RMA, 4 from Warren County High School, that will build the future for Warren County and for your parents and for whatever communities that you end up in. So we're very thankful that you're here today. And I'm very thankful. I know the Warren County High School Awards Assembly was last night. And they actually did not let you know how much your scholarships were. Thank goodness, because I wanted to tell you today. And again, Bob said earlier that it's not money. It's the actions that you make, the opportunities that you have, and what you do with what you have. And I think all of you are definitely on a path that will be a great one, and you will do marvelous things as you grow and get older. Thank you. So our first recipient is Kirsten Stives. So Kirsten, I'm just going to read what I wrote in the programs. There was a lot of information that we could have included in here because there was an interview process that these kids did, and with that committee. And before I go on, I want to thank Michelle Napier, and Brian Fennerbrock for being on the committee with me. We did the interviews. I think that all of us were definitely impressed with all the students we interviewed. So we had 5 recipients, and the first is Kirsten Stives. Kirsten will attend James Madison University and plans to major in kinesiology with a focus on physical therapy for athletes to enable them to play safely and maintain and improve their athletic skills. Her career goal is to work with athletes and the minor league team. That's right now. Who knows where she will go? Kirsten is described by her nominators as a leader among her peers. She's honest, trustworthy, and dependable. She treats everyone with respect and kindness. Kirsten's community service commitment is already in place as she volunteers much of her free time to projects and organizations that better the lives of people in Warren County. And I first actually met Kirsten in I guess November and December, and decided, you know, in retirement, you have to have something to do every once in a while. So I worked part-time at Jean's Jewelers over Christmas, and Kirsten was working part-time, so I met her. So Kirsten, if you would come up here and receive your certificate, and Kirsten's scholarship to go to JMU is $7,000. You want to say or just
yes. I have it on my phone. Is that
okay? You ready? Get your phone.
Okay. Sorry. I would just like to say thank you to all of you guys for having us here today. It is an honor to be able to receive this scholarship. So my name is Kirsten Stives. I'm a student at Warren County High School, and I currently hold a class rank of 14. I am a part of the National Honor Society, Interact Club, DECA, the Cat Pack, and I play varsity soccer and basketball, where I both started as a captain for both teams. I'm also part of the Warren County Sports Medicine program at our high school, where I have actually recently obtained my personal training certification this past December. And in my community, I'm involved with Front Royal Young Life Club, where we help high school students learn more about faith through different club activities. And in the summer, I volunteer with the 4-H summer camp, Warren County basketball camp, and we work with the athletic training staff for the Front Royal Cardinals. I've been a part of many service projects with National Honor Society in our high school, and it's given me the opportunity to give back to not only our school, but also our community here. And this fall, I took on my own project of giving back to the community by organizing tailgates for students at Warren County High School for everyone's football game. It was a lot of fun. Kim actually helped me a lot. I was just happy to be able to give the students a fun activity before the football games, to be able to give them something to do, considering we had lost so much time with COVID. So thank you for having me. And like Kim said, I will be going to JMU this fall to study. So thank you so much.
I don't know why I had to do that wide.
It's the long and up and down one. It's a question.
Walk right into that. Our next recipient is Maggie Toole. Maggie will be attending Virginia Tech. Wasn't her original choice. Now she's re-chosen and is happy with that. She plans to major in biology with a focus on the pre-med or pre-vet. Latest I heard is more pre-vet than it is pre-med. Her future career goal is to own a medical or veterinary practice. Maggie's grown up practicing the Rotary motto, service above self. She's been a mini Rotarian since she was born due to the inspiration and commitment and community spirit she received from both her grandfather and her mother. Maggie states she would want her lifelong legacy to be to inspire others to do better, to give back, to help people, and to donate to the community with her time and resources. Maggie, your award is $5,000. Is your mother crying off yet? Yeah. Thank you. Go ahead. You can stand wherever you like.
Nice to meet so many people. Not usual. Sorry, I didn't care too much. I've had a lot going on. I attend Randolph Academy, Lieutenant Colonel there. I actually run all of the operations at the school. So that really means I take care of it. If you ask anybody in the Corps, I'm the mom of the seniors. And that's really what probably inspired me to apply is I knew that after being called mom once, that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I chose Virginia Tech from being the mini Rotarian with my mom and my grandpa. Their motto is pluralism, that I may serve. So I plan to live that every single day. And this period in my life, hopefully I'll be able to come back to my home and see all of you again and be involved with everything. But hopefully I'll also be impacting Virginia Tech as much as I can. Thank everyone for this. I really appreciate it.
We can get something. Our next recipient is Margaret, who prefers to be called Maggie Quash. Maggie will attend Shenandoah University and will major in music education with a focus on instrumental music. Her career goals are to teach and personally perform. She currently excels in trombone and piano and admits to proficiency in trumpet and accordion. I was going to make a small remark. I would go ahead and do it. I don't know how she was going to do accordion like Lawrence Welk, but I figured 3/4 of the people in this room don't know Lawrence Welk. Look it up. In addition to her academic and music activities, Maggie's participated in varsity tennis, varsity golf as a senior, and drama club and after-school theater productions. She wants her legacy to be she was community-oriented, was generous, and gave back to make her community a better place to live. And Maggie's award is $2,500. That's all. You have to use the.
I know. Oh, this way out.
Thank you.
I can profit appropriately.
I can stand on a chair.
That's right. I don't even know.
You guys all know I'm Maggie Quash. I want to thank you all for this opportunity. You know, I'm finishing up as a senior at Warren County High School, graduating in like 8 days. It's crazy to me. I'll be going to Shenandoah University in the fall to major in music education. Music is something I'm really passionate about. It can bring people together, and I just want to be able to pass that on and inspire future generations of musicians, whether it be they just play in middle or high school or they go on professionally. I want to have that impact. Alongside with all my music-related activities and theater, things like that, I've also accompanied for my high school's choir, played some piano, and I'm a member of the National Honor Society from my high school. This fall, we worked to clean out Shenandoah River State Park. And this spring, I led a project to, I led a bake sale to raise funds. Our original goal was $600, and we ended up almost making triple that at $1,600. I couldn't do that without my fellow members. Kirsten, you were a great help on that project. I've just done a lot, and I'd like to continue to do a lot. I think this scholarship will help make that possible. So thank you again.
Our next recipient is Nick Koznevsky. Is that close enough?
Perfect.
All right. I practiced. Nick will attend LRCC, which is Laurel Ridge Community College, for 2 years and transfer to Virginia Tech or UVA's completed degree in electrical engineering, and current LFCC, and moving to LRCC, actually starting a brand new engineering program this next year too, so that'll be great. He'd like to own his own business in the future. Nick's extracurricular activities at school include volleyball, basketball, and cross country. Other interests include music. That's a big interest for him, I can tell you that. Fixing motors and go-karts, which is another big interest for him. Nick is dedicated to being a good Christian wherever his personal path may lead, and his scholarship is $1,500. Picture. Another call. Yes.
I feel like with a couple of sermons under my belt, I have to be ready for this, but not 100% ready. I first want to say thank you so much. I don't deserve even 1 cent from anybody. It's just a huge blessing to be awarded any type of money in such a country where, you know, a lot of people here just help the younger generation. You know, going forward, I think I just don't deserve it. That's what I wanted to say. I wrote a couple of things just to direct myself. I want to talk on myself a little bit. My name is Nicodemus Koznevsky, and the most important trait about me is I'm a follower of Christ. That's the most important thing about me. That's what I'm going to stick with the rest of my life. Maybe I won't, you know, stick with engineering, or maybe I'll become a pastor. So I'm surprised. I have a couple of hobbies that include music, go-karts, and I like to play sports. I didn't play sports too much for the high school. I always more of a street player, and I ran cross country. So I ran cross country for the high school for a little bit because the coach invited me to. It was a great experience. There's one thing I could have changed going back is to play sports with the school, but you know, to play ball with my little brothers and friends in the neighborhood was just as good. Music is something I will stick with for the rest of my life. Megan Flosh, she's a professional musician. You know, I can't say I'm nearly as good as her, but I play the guitar, bass guitar, saxophone, and I know a couple songs with piano. I can fix stuff up on it by ear a little bit. I hope to make my own Christian music one day. And lastly, go-karts. The new generation maybe likes video games, cryptocurrency, NFT, whatever it is nowadays. I just like a car that has a motor on it, takes me 40 miles per hour. I look up Facebook Marketplace, I buy them, and I renovate them and then sell them. That's what I use to make myself money. For now, it's better than working at McDonald's because I have my own schedule, and I make as much probably a full-time McDonald's worker would make, and that's a huge blessing. I actually prayed for it. Forgot to open it up to me, such opportunity that happened. My academic standing, I have a 4.0, all 4 years in high school, AP scholar. There's most individuals here are smarter than me, I'll admit that, but I will try to put even more effort into college than I did in high school. Contributions to the community, to school. Community to me means just the people around. So my friends, my neighbors, friends at school. And I never officially volunteered, but I was always willing to help, regardless of what it took. You know, money is not a huge thing to me. It's just to do good to those around me. There was an older couple in the neighborhood I used to live in, Mr. and Mrs. Ellis. I would mow their lawn, show them the driveway, help with whatever chores they needed. And I only got away a few times not accepting money because it eventually just turned to arguments, so I just accepted the money. But what I found most was they like just to talk. You know, sometimes just to sit down to talk with elders. He was a Vietnam veteran, and I would sometimes talk about his service there. He really, really enjoyed it, is what the missus told me and stuff. He's going to be a friend for a long time, as long as I can visit him. In school, I did not complete nearly as enough help to the school as maybe Kirsten or Maggie, but I try to be a good friend to those around me and always willing to help. it just, to me, means a lot to be a good friend and to lead others. Future aspirations, I want to become an engineer. Electrical engineering is a specific area I want to go into. I want to make electric go-karts one day and electric cars. Maybe a more affordable Tesla. Maybe that will be in the future. But the most important thing for me is to fulfill God's will in my life. So, as I said, don't be surprised if I pop up on this court as a preacher or pastor or something. And again, I want just to thank you guys so much. Can't explain in words how much I don't deserve any of this. Thank you very much.
And our final recipient today is Aiden Atwood. Aiden plans on attending Bridgewater College, majoring in exercise science. His career goal is to establish his own personal training business, working with younger athletes. He's on his way toward that goal as he recently received his personal training certificate from Fort Fairfax Community College while still in high school. Aiden's community support has already been established. His produce stand business generating income he shared with CCAP, and I'm sure he may tell you a little bit more about that. And Aiden, your award is $4,000. It's coffee. Should put my big girl shoes on.
First off, I would just like to thank all of you guys. It's an honor. Like Nick said, none of us deserve this. It's just amazing you guys can do this for the younger generation to help us out in the future. I've lived in Warren County my whole life. I grew up on the farm. And when I was younger, I started to sell the extra produce to help out CCAP. I ended up donating over $1,800, which was well over 5,000 meals that was able to be bought for people in need. So that was one of my biggest accomplishments. I played 4 sports in high school: football, basketball, baseball, and I ran track. I've taken classes at LFCC to obtain my personal training and group exercise certificate, and I plan to use that to go to Bridgewater where I'll play football and study exercise science and business. And I hope to come back to the area one day to open my own business and work with younger athletes to help them get to the next level.
Well, I think you can see from the students that we're honoring this year that our future's in good hands. And we look forward to seeing what they're doing in years to come. And Bob, did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
Well, just thank you again to the students and the parents. I think maybe another hand for everyone.
Yeah.
When you see what these kids are out there doing around the world, they all came from our public high school, most of them. And they came from our community. It's pretty amazing.
So coming from a little community doesn't mean you have little aspirations or little opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen, Bob. And just to finish up real quick, a reminder that next week there's no meeting because of the holiday, and we'll stand for the floor recess.
Things we think, say, or do. First is the truth. Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, be beneficial to all concerned.
Have a great weekend, everybody.